Hello friends, welcome to my channel, and in this video we will talk about the pigeonhole principle. Now what the pigeonhole principle is, I have clearly discussed in this video. I am currently running a series that is Mathematical Olympiad series, and in this series I will talk about several topics regarding Mathematical Olympiad, mathematics topics which are related to Mathematical Olympiad. I will teach you the concepts of different topics related to Mathematical Olympiad, and also give you some examples, solve examples of the questions asked in previously asked in Mathematical Olympiads. So let's begin. So what is pigeonhole principle? So at first go through the principal statement. What is the principal statement says? This principle states that if there are n holes and n plus 1 pigeons and we try to fill the holes with pigeons, then there exists at least one hole which consists at least 2 pigeons. What does it mean? Come to the diagram. In this diagram, what we see that there are some holes and the holes are filled with pigeons. Suppose there are 9 holes, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. There are 9 holes and 10 pigeons, and my task is to fill these holes. To fill the hole, there are no constraints. We have to just fill the holes. And how we fill the hole? Such that all the pigeons are inserted in this hole. So suppose, what can I do? Suppose our task, and remember one thing, how we have to do what is there is a box, and in this box there are 9 holes and there are 10 pigeons. We have to fill the box such a way that each hole cannot contain more than one pigeon. Again, listen to me again, what I am trying to say. Suppose there are 9 holes and there are 10 pigeons. Our task is to fill the boxes such a way that no box will contain more than one pigeon. This is the concept. So how can we do that? What can we do with that? We can clearly, how no box will contain more than one pigeon. Then how can we fill that? We simply fill each box with one pigeon. This is one way. So suppose I fill one pigeon in this box, 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 and such way I just do this thing. So what will happen after filling all the boxes with one pigeon left? Since there are 9 pigeon there are 9 holes and 10 pigeons. If I fill all the boxes with one pigeon, the 9 pigeons will be filled and one pigeon will be left. Now suppose I have to insert the rest of the pigeon in one of these holes. Suppose I fill that pigeon in this box. So what will happen? This box will contain 2 pigeons. But what I have said in the before filling the boxes, I have said that no box can be filled more than one pigeon. But if I insert the rest pigeon in this box this violates my terms of condition. Suppose I do not fill the rest pigeon in the here, I just fill it here. For that case, this box will contain 2 pigeon. So what I see that I cannot fill such a way that all the boxes contain no more than one pigeon. There exists at least one hole which consists at least 2 pigeons. I think I can understand. You can understand what my point. What I trying to say, just understand. There are 9 holes and 10 pigeons. Your task is to fill the hole such a way that no hole will contain more than one pigeon. I think you can understand. So how can we fill that? This is an easy process. We can fill each holes with one pigeon. Since no hole will consist more than one pigeon, so we cannot fill any hole more than once. This is the required condition. So what can I do? We can what can I do? We can fill each hole with one pigeon. So what will happen after that? After filling all the holes with one pigeon, all 9 pigeons will be filled and one pigeon will left. The rest one pigeon, if I fill anywhere of the box, at which box I feel the rest pigeon, that box will contain 2 pigeons. That means our condition cannot be fulfilled. What I said to before filling this box, that condition can never be reached. This is this principle. What this principle says, again, to go through the statements. This principle states if there are n holes, for this case the number of holes is 9. That means n equal to 9, and n plus 1 pigeons. That means 10 pigeons, one more pigeon. than whole, and we try to fill the holes with pigeons then there exists at least one hole. Here exists at least one hole for this diagram, this hole which consists at least two pigeons, this hole will consist two pigeon. Now this hole may consist more than two pigeon. That you say how? For this case, suppose I do not fill all the holes with one pigeon, I just put all the pigeons in one particular hole. For that case, that hole will consist more than two pigeons. So what for this is why I have used the at least word. This is not exactly that there I have used at least word. Please pay attention what I have used here. At least, that means there it is not mandatory that the one hole will consist two pigeon. There may be one pigeon or more than two pigeons. For this type of filling, I have previously mentioned this hole will consist two pigeon. But suppose I just fill all the pigeons in this hole, or the rest of the holes are empty. Suppose consider that case. So for that case, what will happen? This hole will consist more than two pigeon. So what is the principal statement states? It states that if there are n holes and n plus one pigeons, we try to fill the holes with pigeons, then there exists at least one hole for this hole. If we fill the rest pigeon this hole, then for there may be any hole that which consists at least two pigeons. So I hope you understand the point. But and you think you probably think that this is a very easy concept. Why this are asked in mathematical Olympiad? I think you wonder about this. But actually, what is the problem behind this? That implementation of this principle is very large scale. Suppose what will happen in mathematical Olympiad, you will be given a problem and you have to identify whether in this problem pigeonhole principle is applicable or not. And trust me, this is very hard. Actually, if you don't have practiced enough problems, you cannot identify at which problem pigeonhole principle actually works. And you can understand my words. If you are a first time use this concept, then I think you cannot get me properly. Don't worry. In the next slide, I have given you two problems regarding this principle. I hope if you solve those problems, you can understand how to identify if in a problem there will a pigeonhole principle will work or not. This identification is very hard actually. So go to the next slide. So I have given you some basic level problems. Two problems I have given, and in this video I will just discuss about this problem, and in the next video I will discuss about this problem. So go through the problem one first. This is a very basic level problem. So what is the problem? You see that suppose there are 21 numbers in a set S. Prove that there exists at least two elements which give same remainder while divided by 20. Again I am repeating the question. Suppose there are 21 numbers in a set S. Prove that there exists at least two elements. Sorry, there would be elements, not element. Plural form will be used here, which gives same remainder while divided by 20. So in the next slide I have given the solution, but I recommend you before going for the solution, you think the problem by yourself. I give you that this problem you have to use the pigeonhole principle. Now how you will use the pigeonhole principle, you have to think by yourself. So at first please think yourself, and then the next slide I have explained how the solution of this problem. So I recommend you pause the video and think about some time. I think you have done. Now go to the next slide of the solution portion, the solution to the problem 1. So this is a very easy problem. So what is the solution? Assume that no two element in set has the same remainder while divided by 20. What is the question statement I have given? So there are 21 numbers. The 21 numbers be any number in a set S. In a set S, there are 21 numbers. In a 21 numbers, the numbers can be any number. Prove that there exists at least two elements. That means in this set, to exist two elements. That means two numbers which gives the same remainder while divided by 20. So how I have if you go to this point, any integer can have 20 possible remainders. Suppose if you divide any integer, suppose come to there. If you suppose you divide some integer, suppose that may be 51. Suppose if you divide 51 by 20, what we will get? We will get the remainder 11. Now we have got the remainder 11. This is an example I have given, that there are how many possible remainders we can get. There are several possible remainders, that is 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. I like to and up to sorry up to 19, because the remainder is always less than the divisor. This is the condition. For the number of possible, what is the number of sorry so what is the number of possible remainders while an integer will divided by 20? There are 20 possible remainders. So what will be the remainder? There may be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up to 19. So if you divide any integer by 20, we will get the remainder between these things. That means these things mean these numbers. It is not like you get any number and you divided that number by 20 and you get 21 as a remainder. That never happens, because the remainder always be less than the divisor. The remainders cannot exit 20. Now there is a formula that, suppose if you sorry, this means that they are this means that at most we can choose 20 distinct integers, so that any two do not have the same remainder. What does it mean? There is a theorem behind that. This is a lemma we have. What is the lemma? The lemma is that, I think you don't know about what is lemma actually mean. Don't worry, this is a formula you can remember for yourself. Suppose there are two integers you get, which gives two same remainders while divided by a particular number. If you if you subtract those number, the resultant number is always be divisible by that number. What I mean, I am clearly explaining you. At first I just erase this thing. Suppose, I want to say, suppose there is an example. Suppose 6 and 16 and 6, two are numbers. Two numbers. So both, if you divide both numbers with 5, so what's the remainder? For the remainder is here 1. And if we divide 6 by 5, what is the remainder? The remainder is 1. Both give same remainder. Suppose we subtract 16 and 6, what will get? Sorry, we get 10. If we see here, 10 is divisible by 5. So this is the concept actually. If we have two numbers which give same remainder while divided by a particular integer, then if we subtract those number, here we subtracted to the resultant number, 10 is divisible by the particular number, and this is applicable for any number. I have given you an example. Now you may ask why this happened, and I will discuss this in detail when I will be in number theory. So if you want such videos, to subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon if you get the notification of when I upload new videos. So this is a concept of number theory which we will use here. If you already know, then very good. If you don't know, just note down it. So what is the formula? So how can this formula can be applicable here? Applicable here, there are 20 possible remainders at 0, 1 to 19. Suppose you take 20 numbers. Numbers cannot exceed 20. Exceed 20. So this means that there are at most we can choose 20 distinct integers, so that no two have the same remainder. So this is obviously true. Then we can choose 20 distinct integers so that two don't have the same remainder. Because if suppose I have chosen a number which gives a remainder 0, then I have chosen an integer which 1. Suppose I fill the set as such a way that all the numbers while divided by 20 gives my different remainders. So at most, since there are 20 possible remainders, and we can choose 20 distinct integers such that no two have the same remainder. So we can choose 20 possible integers, but the set, the strength of the set is 21. The set has 21 elements. That means there exists. We know that the set has 21 elements, which means that there are at least one element which gives the same remainder to one number in the set S. So what does it mean? The set has, at first we are clear that the set has 21 elements. Now we have to choose the elements of the set S such a way that all the numbers in 21, all the 21 numbers have distinct elements. If we are done with this task, what is our task? At first, clear what is our task. Our task is to fill the set S with 21 numbers such a way that all the numbers have distinct remainders while divided by 20. This is our task. If we are successful at the start, again, and listen what I trying to say, the task is to fill the set S such a way that all the 21 elements have distinct remainders while divided by 20. So what will happen if we we have become successful at our task? We actually, this is the contradiction statement of the question as given. First, the question is given. In the question, it is given that suppose we have 21 numbers in the set S, there exists at least two elements which gives the same remainder while divided by 20. This is the problem statement. Now, what we trying to do? We are trying to do to fill the set S such a way that all the 21 numbers have distinct remainders. That means the opposite of the statement mentioned in the question. So what we'll have to do? We have to contradict our statement. What does it mean? So we have to prove that we are trying to fill the set S with 21 numbers having distinct remainders, but we cannot do that. We have to prove this thing. So how can we prove that? We have to at first try to fill the set S with 21 numbers which have distinct remainders. So we try that. Now what is there? It is written here that any integer can have 20 possible remainders. Now 20 possible remainders, what are the remainders? The remainder may be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 up to 19. The remainder cannot exceed the number 20, exceed the number 19, since the remainder is always less than the divisor. So the divisor. Now suppose we have chosen 20 numbers such a way that all the numbers have distinct remainders. There are exactly 20 possible remainders. Now we have chosen 20 distinct integers so that any two don't have the same remainder. Any two, that means suppose if any number I have chosen has the remainder 0, then I have to choose the another number having remainder another remainder that is not included 0. Suppose we have chosen a number 40 for the set S. The 40 gives remainder 0 while divided by 20. Now we have to choose another number which gives don't give 0. We have to choose the number such a way that the number gives the remainder apart from 0. So that may be 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose we have chosen another number which has given the which will give the remainder 2. We have chosen a number such as, let's say 42. Suppose it is a that may be any number, but for simplicity I have considered here 42, which gives the remainder 2. So at the first number gives remainder 0. The second number chosen for the set S gives remainder 2. Suppose again we have chosen any number which gives remainders except 0 and 2, because if the number gives one of these, then we will be unsuccessful. What we have to do? We have to fill the set S with such elements which gives all the remainder distinct. No two have the same remainder. So the first element gives 0, the second 2, then a third may give 3, 4, one of these except 0 and 2. So suppose we have filled 20 elements in the set S. The 20 elements, what will be the possible remainders? All the remainders may be 0, 1, 2. We see that there are 20 possible remainders. So all the numbers chosen for the set S, the 20 numbers chosen for the set S have all the distinct remainders. Be clear that, please understand, listen carefully, that all the numbers which we are choosing for the element set S must have distinct remainders. So what are the possible remainders? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 19. Now each element while divided by 20 must give a distinct remainder from others. Suppose we have chosen a number 40 that will give 0 remainder. Now we cannot choose the number 60 because 60 will also give 0 remainder, and our task is to fill the set is such that no two have the same remainder. Suppose then we have to select a number such a way that will give the remainders except 0. That may give 1, maybe 2, maybe 5, but it cannot give the remainder 0. So suppose the another number we have chosen, second number gives the remainder 2, then 4, then 3. Suppose such a way we have filled 20 numbers. All the 20 numbers will give the 20 distinct integers. We have made the possible remainders are 20. So what does it mean? If we've already chosen 20 numbers which will give distinct remainder while divided by 20, it will consist all these remainders 0, 1, 2, 3, all the remainder. Suppose I have to fill, so that means all the remainders, all the numbers having all the remainders are fulfilled. That means we have no remainder will get left which I can choose for choosing the next element. The set consists 21 elements and we have filled 20 elements which will give the distinct remainder. Now if we choose any number for the set S which will that will give the remainders among one of these which is previously already chosen. What does it mean? That means that there exists at least one element which gives the same remainder to one number in the set S. Hence the contradiction. But then we become what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that we are unsuccessful. We become unsuccessful. What we turn to do? What we are trying to do? We are trying to fill the set as such a way that all the numbers have distinct remainder, but we failed. We can fill the set with 20 distinct remainders at 20 distinct numbers having remainder, 20 distinct numbers having the distinct remainders, but we cannot. But at most we cannot fill 21 elements. Suppose one more element will lead you the contradiction. So this is our by contradiction we have proved that there exists at least one element which gives the same remainder to one number in the set S. This is the proof actually. I hope you got understand what I'm trying to say. If you don't understand, don't be panic, because it is actually a conceptual portion and you have to think about it. Pigeonhole principle, the problems which involves pigeonhole principles are very thinking related, because you have to think properly. You have to think again and again. You have to practice the problems properly. The concept behind the principle is very easy, but the implementation and the is very hard. You can become expert at implementation of this principle until you are not practicing enough. So I recommend you to practice several problems regularly, and I will post you several problems and several questions regarding this pigeonhole principle and pigeonhole principle in my next video. And come to the next slide. This is the solution of problem 2. So here is the problem 2. I recommend you to go through the problem for once or twice. In this video I think that I decided not to discuss this problem because it will make the video very lengthy. So I recommend you to solve this problem at your home. If you're unable to solve, then don't worry. In the next video I will discuss the solution of this problem, and apart from that I will give you some more problems, some moderate level problems, some Olympiad level problems. And if you follow my channel, then you will be expert at this principle. Not only principle, I will cover several topics regarding mathematical Olympiad, all the topics regarding mathematical Olympiad. I will give you several problems. I will post the solution of this problem. I will post the how to approach any problem. In this topic I will post some problems. If you like the video, then if you like the video, then press on the like button. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe our channel and share the video as much as possible. So see ya, bye bye, have a good day.